Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Brianna if you're new here, and today we are doing a fun reading vlog. If you didn't read the title, today I am going to be reading, or I don't know why I said today, this whole week I'm going to be reading books that I predict will be 5 stars. So essentially this video is me trying to find 5-star reads. May was an okay reading month. I feel like I had a lot of 3-ish stars, so nothing amazing. So I just need a good book to kind of get out of this like slumpy reading feeling. If you guys have never seen one of my reading vlogs before, it's pretty self-explanatory, but basically I will pick up some books off of my physical TBR or my Kindle. As I'm reading them, I will tell you what the book's about, I will give you my reactions, and I'll go over my total rating and thoughts and everything at the end of the book, all spoiler free. So without further ado, let's just get into this video. The first book I'm actually starting out with is After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I actually could not help myself and I already started. I'm like 50 pages in, and this is actually a reread for me. I read this book for the first time about 3 years ago after my now husband and I first got engaged. And I loved this book so much. It was a 5-star rating then, more like a 6-star rating. Like I was just obsessed with this book. So I wanted to reread it because I love it so much. And also I just want to see if I still love it and still think it would be a 5-star rating today, because my book taste has definitely changed a little bit over the years. But I feel like with Taylor Jenkins Reid, they're just all good. Like her writing has definitely evolved too. Like this is pretty simple, kind of lackluster writing, but the story itself, beautiful. So a little bit about this book. It's about Lauren and Ryan, who have been married for a few years. I think they've been together for like 11 years total, but now after being married for a few years, they are definitely in a rough patch. They feel like their marriage isn't really working out anymore. They are kind of deciding to like take a break and like live apart for a little bit just to see what happens, see if it's good for them, see if it kind of decides if they should stay together or not. So yeah, it's really tough because in the beginning of the book, you're reading about their history, like the 11 years that they've been together, and what starts out as like literally the honeymoon phase, but then after that, you are kind of getting into that tougher stage, like will you stay together, will you not? And then after that, it's just how you kind of grow apart because they're in college when they meet. So they're 19 when they meet and when they start dating. So it's just really interesting to see like how you meet someone and you kind of grow up with them, but you can also grow apart from them. And I think the reason I loved it so much was I was 19 when I got engaged to my husband. We were high school sweethearts, and I think it just kind of put things in perspective, like how to kind of navigate a marriage when you have been with each other for so long and know each other so well. Like, yes, you can grow up and grow apart, but you can also like grow individually but still want to be together. So that's kind of what this book is exploring, and I again loved it. But yeah, I am going to continue reading it, see if I'm still loving it. I will say right off the bat, after picking up this book and just starting it this morning, Ryan's character, I'm kind of like, he seems a little bit narcissistic. I don't know. I don't remember loving Ryan the first time I read it. I really liked Lauren's character because I kind of felt like I could relate to her. But yeah, I never really loved Ryan's character, and rereading just the first 50 pages, I was like, yeah, I remember why I didn't love him that much. But yeah, I am probably gonna go sit outside for a little bit, continue reading. I am annotating it because I never annotated it the first time around, but now I love annotating, so quite a few highlights already just in the first 50 pages. I'll probably share some of my favorite quotes with you at the end of the book. Let's get reading. Alright, I had to come in unexpectedly because it literally started storming out of nowhere, and I apologize for the lighting, but that's literally how dark it's out right now. So it's like 2 or 3 p.m. I think. But anywho's, I read outside for a little bit. I'm now on page 84, so it's probably out there for like 30 to 45 minutes. I don't know for sure. But basically, we are just like still going through the motion. Like, they are kind of accepting that their marriage is at this breaking point, and it really is gut-wrenching. It really breaks my heart, and to read what the characters are going through is really, really hard at some points, even though I love it because it's really real. That's also what I hate about it, is it feels so real because I put myself in Lauren's shoes and imagine like if me and my husband were going through this, and that's literally a nightmare. Like, literally, God forbid that ever happening, because my heart cannot handle that. But like, if my heart can't handle it for fictional characters, how would it handle it in real life? It wouldn't. So yeah, just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. Like, not a ton more is really happening other than they kind of accepted that they need to do something because they came to the conclusion that they're not really in love with each other anymore, and their marriage is not going to get any better if they don't do anything. So they kind of agree to this like year-long trial separation to see if being apart will be better for them and for them to be able to come back from that. I can't say that I really would agree with what they're doing. Like, I don't think I could ever bring myself to do that. Ever. But, you know, I support the characters' decisions because it's in a book. So I am just gonna keep reading though. Hopefully get a good chunk of this done today because it is very, very fast-paced and very, very entertaining. Like, you just go, 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 go. We're gonna see what Lauren gets up to now that her and Ryan are kind of separated. Okay guys, believe it or not, I actually did want to give you a reading update on After I Do last night, but I actually started playing some games with my brothers and my husband, and then I was just so tired that I just conked out. So you're getting my update now the next morning. I got to page, 217. I think we're like 70% through the book, so I'll probably finish it pretty soon here today, probably before the afternoon, honestly, and then I'll give you my overall rating on the book, see if it's still a 5-star read. But I will just say the main thing I wanted to talk about in this update, because with Lauren and Ryan still being separated in the book right now, Lauren is just moving through life. She's trying to learn how to be independent, because obviously when you're with someone from such a young age and you're still growing up with them, you don't really know how to be your own person. That's something I have struggled with a little bit, just being with my husband since we were 17 years old and trying to navigate life like individually while still being together. It can be difficult. So I think it's really beautiful that Lauren is trying to be happy on her own and really get that experience to be her own person without Ryan. I just think that's beautiful. Thank you, Taylor Jenkins Reid, for writing something like that. And what I really want to talk about is just how much I love the family aspect in this book. Like, Lauren has such a close relationship with her sister, with her brother, with her mom, with her grandma. Like, family is everything to Lauren, and I also feel like I am someone who my family is everything to me. Like, my brothers, my sister-in-laws, my nephews, like, you name it. I literally hate living in Minnesota, but I will never, ever, ever move away because this is where my family is. My husband has literally offered. He was like, pick anywhere for us to move and I will follow you there. And I'm like, I can't leave my family though. Like, trust me, I want to, because I hate Minnesota, but I just can't leave my family. So reading about a main character who also feels that strongly about her own family and has really, really good relationships with them, like very healthy. She's able to tell them all about the struggles that she's having in her marriage and what they're going through, and they are 100% supportive. They're like, you know what? We love Ryan because he's been a part of our life for 11 years, but you're our blood. Like, we love you more and we're going to support you no matter what. Obviously, we hope for the best, but it is what it is, basically. I just really, really, really love that aspect. And honestly, I forgot about that because when I think about this book, I think about Lauren and Ryan and their relationship. And I don't really think about Lauren and how she's growing and her family relationships, which I should because it's also beautiful. So that's my little update that I wanted to talk about last night. But yeah, I am probably just going to finish the rest of this book and see how much sadder it gets. I like how you can just see how many blue tabs there are in the beginning, and then we have like orange. Orange is just kind of quotes that I like, or like kind of personal things to Lauren, and then there's a few pink, which is like the romancy parts between Lauren and Ryan. But yeah, lots of blue in the beginning because that's like really sad stuff where they're kind of realizing their marriage is not at a good point anymore. I'll be back with maybe my final update or just any other reactions. Okay, where did I even put the book? Anyways, I finished After I Do. I don't even think I showed you. I think I showed you me crying, and that's the last thing I showed you. But I did end up finishing it. And I'm just gonna say, yeah, this is still a 5-star read for me. Not in like the writing. Like the writing definitely seems juvenile, but also I think this book was written in like 2013. So it's over a decade old. Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing has just improved in itself. But the story and just the emotional depth to the story, a million stars. Like, I truly think this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story. I know I've already said there's so many beautiful things about this book, but I do just think it's such a beautiful story showing you what marriage should be. And I mean, obviously, every single case is different. There are circumstances where, like, you need to get out of a marriage, right? But in cases like these, with these characters, like, I just think showing how you should go about your marriage and the person that you love is so real and raw and just prophetic, honestly. I love Lauren. I love her personal development that she had during the time. I love the ending, like, literally had me bawling my eyes out for multiple reasons, but like mostly about Lauren and Ryan. And I remember why I love this book so much and why I gave it 5 stars to begin with. I do want to read you a few quotes. I'll probably read you one of each color. Like I said, I have pink, orange, and blue. Pink is the romancy ones. Orange is just ones that I like, or that are kind of deep. And then blue is sad, obviously. So I'll read you a few like out of context, no spoiler quotes. First one I'm going to read you is a blue quote, so something I thought was sad. It says, "We had plenty of time to decide what we wanted. We were still young, and yet I couldn't help but feel a type of disappointment that I'd never felt before. A sense that the future might not turn out exactly the way we pictured it." And I just think that is so real. That is something I have thought to myself many a times before, so that one really hit me. This one is pink because I definitely kind of read it as romancy, but it can definitely be interpreted in different ways. But it says, "If Ryan jumped off of a cliff, would you? Is it bad that there was a time in my life when I might have considered saying yes to that? I'm inclined to think it's beautiful that I once believed in someone that much, that completely, and without reservation." Like, excuse me, that is exactly how I feel about my husband. Like, if he jumped off a cliff, I would jump off the cliff with him because I love him, and if he's going out, I'm going out with him, okay? Okay, so that's why I did pink, is because it made me think of me and my husband and our relationship. And let me find you a good orange quote to read. Okay, this last one I'm gonna read you, I am gonna give you a little bit of context. Lauren is talking to another character about something that she did that she's kind of ashamed of doing in the past. So it says, "Yes, it was me. Yes, I am ashamed I did it. But it also wasn't me. That wasn't me. That person was so angry. I was so angry. I'm not angry anymore." And I just really like that one because I definitely have some moments where I get really angry and I kind of act out. and then I do feel terrible about it like immediately afterwards because I know it wasn't right and I just wish that I had more control over it. So reading that was kind of eye-opening to me, and I was like, okay, if Lauren can like get to a point where she recognizes that and is able to like say that's not me anymore, that is what I am striving to be, like never ever ever doing that again. So thank you, Lauren. But yeah, I really love this one. If you can't tell, we are off to a good start. I definitely could have read this in one sitting. I did read it under 24 hours, so that's pretty good. And I would definitely recommend this one. Let's see if we can find another 5-star read after this one. I do have another book in mind that I'm like 90% sure I'll probably pick up for the next book for this video, but you'll see when I choose it, I guess. Okay, so sorry for that jump scare. Ignore my appearance. I just got out of the shower and yeah, I'm in my PJs. I'm getting ready for bed, but I wanted to remember to give you guys a reading update since I didn't give you one last night, but I just want to tell you the update now while everything's kind of fresh in my mind. Also, I started Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid because I was just really in a Taylor Jenkins Reid mood after finishing After I Do. And this is the last book that I need to read in her little like LA series, her little LA romance series. That's my reasoning. Basically, I was just in the mood for it. And I really do love Taylor Jenkins Reid writing. Like, I think I have rated every single one of her books a 4-star rating or above. So clearly we have a good shot of being another 5-star, especially with the premise of this one is so unique. It's kind of like a little bit of a magical realism, so let's talk about it. It follows our main character, Hannah, who is 29 years old. She feels like she's pretty lost in life. She is moving from New York back home to LA, and she's going to live with her best friend for a little while she kind of tries to get her life back on track, figure out what she wants in life. Oh. My husband is currently rescuing a mouse that fell down our window well. So, if you heard anything, that's what that was. Is he okay? Look how much brighter it just got. Anyways, very interesting premise because once she gets back into LA, she goes to this party to kind of meet up with like old friends from high school and friends of her friend that she is living with. I'm watching my husband rescue this mouse. It's so cute. Oh, I told him we should just keep it as a pet, but he was not thrilled with that idea. And this, you guys, is why you should marry a softie. Marry a man who will rescue a mouse that falls down your window well, because they're the best men. Okay, back to the book. So Hannah has this ex-boyfriend from high school. When they went to college, they broke up, but they've always just kind of felt like their paths keep intertwining whenever they see each other, and they just have like this undeniable chemistry and feelings for each other still, even though it's been like 10 years since they broke up with each other. So they go to this party, and the guy, Ethan, basically asks Hannah like, hey, do you want to come with me, like stay at the party, or do you want to go home with your friend? And Hannah just like doesn't know what to decide. But in the book, we get to see Hannah live out both of these decisions. So every other chapter, we're switching what Hannah we're reading about, if it's the Hannah that went home with Ethan or if it's the Hannah that went home with her friend. I'm loving it. I'm loving the premise. I was shocked by some of the things that were revealed in one of the timelines. And then I read the other timeline and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I know what's coming, but obviously like I can't say anything to you guys, but just like I know what's coming, and my hair is coming out. Anyways, I'm really enjoying it so far. I am on page 104, so I definitely got a good bit into it. I'm also annotating this one because I want to annotate all my Taylor Jenkins Reid books. And yeah, I am really loving this one so far. I don't know how much I can say that. Honestly, like, I have not want to put it down. I did put it down because I made homemade Oreos and also like supper and stuff, so I did have to put it down. But this is one where I seriously don't want to put it down. Another one where I feel like I could definitely read it in one sitting if like that was an option, if I didn't have other stuff to do between. So yeah, this one's going very well. If you couldn't tell, I feel like we definitely have another strong contender for a 5-star read. Obviously though, I will keep you updated with all of my thoughts throughout, and yeah, I'll be back with an update soon. Well, soon for you, not soon for me. Like, okay guys, I have finished Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I kind of totally didn't stop reading at all in the middle to give you another update because I was just so enraptured by the story and simply did not want to put it down. I wanted to find out what was going to happen to Hannah in both of these lives that we're seeing her live. So I feel like that speaks for itself that it is a pretty good book if you don't want to put it down whatsoever. Also, side note, I hope you guys don't mind this angle. You're like facing up at me a little bit more instead of like straight on. If you don't like it, just leave a comment if you've made it this far and just let me know. I need your feedback. So I film the way you guys want me to film and I post what you guys want me to post. Okay, tangent on that over, but yeah, Maybe in Another Life was very good. We basically just continued to follow Hannah down literally these two different paths that her life could have taken, and they're both very interesting. And I also just think the message in the book is super important. There was a lot of discussion around like God and just bigger existences in life that are kind of like controlling your life, you know? So in the book, Hannah and her best friend Gabby talk a lot about like what's meant to be is going to happen. No matter what decision I make, what's going to happen is what's going to happen. That is fate. That is God getting me to where I am meant in life. And I just think that is so beautiful because I always try to have that mindset. I always say like everything happens for a reason. Like I am going down this path to get to this path to end up where I'm going to end up. And I truly believe that God had made me struggle a little bit in life to lead me to my now husband and have this incredible life that I have now. That's just my personal beliefs, but this book talked about it so much, and I was like, what if God is making me read this book right now for a particular reason? I don't know. So I really loved that aspect because in both lives that Hannah's living, one of them is, well, both of them have their challenges for sure, but one of them is a lot more like physically and mentally challenging than the other. And to see Hannah have the same mindset in both lives, even though I feel like you could say one of them that she's currently living is worse off, I just love that. I definitely had a preferred timeline, I don't know what I would say, life for Hannah reading about. I'm not gonna say which one because yeah, one of them is like if she did end up with her ex-boyfriend again, or in the other one, I feel like I can't even tell you what happens because it doesn't really say on the synopsis, but when she chooses to go home with her friend Gabby instead, and then something that happens because she went home instead of going with her ex-boyfriend, and then that just leads her life to literally so many things that she never could have imagined for herself. And I'm just like, yeah, that's literally life. Like, Taylor Jenkins Reid could not have done a better job putting that into words and putting that into perspective. I really loved, again, just Hannah's character in both. She is such a positive, bubbly person, even when her life seems like it's going terribly wrong and she feels like she has nothing figured out in life. She's like, life will figure itself out for me. And I just love that mindset so much. So I really, really enjoyed Hannah's character in the whole book, in both of the lives that we see her live. I also loved the friendship that we saw in this book with Hannah and Gabby. Like, I feel like there's not a ton of books I read where there is such a strong female relationship, like friendship in the book. So seeing that, I absolutely loved, because Hannah and Gabby are like platonic soulmates. Like, they love each other so, so much, not in a romantic way, just like in that soul connected way. And I really loved that in both of these lives that we see Hannah living, like Gabby is always, always, always her constant, whereas everything else is changing. She always has Gabby, and I love that. Oh, I will read you some quotes because I did tab it. So this like purpley color is romance, which there's not a ton. Obviously, it's more so just like Hannah's life. It's very much more so women's fiction rather than a romance book. And then this like peachy orangey color is just quotes that I liked, or like happy moments, or just moments that hit kind of deep. And then blue is what I consider to be kind of sad. So let me read you one of each with no spoilers. This one, I highlighted blue and I just felt it so deeply in my bones. It says, "I understand perfectly now why everything in my life has been going so well. The universe is just lining everything up in perfect order so that I can roll through it and ruin it the way I always do." Okay, Taylor Jenkins Reid, really hitting me hard there. Let's find a cute, lovey one. Okay, this one's a little bit longer and it's like more so dialogue, but I really, really loved it because it reminded me of me and my husband. So it says, he laughs. "Try all you want, Hannah," he says, "but there are no deal breakers here." I turn and look out the window. "Oh, I'll find your weak spot, Mr. Hanover. I will find it if it's the last thing I do." He laughs as we slow to a red light. He looks at me. "I know what it means to miss you," he says. The light turns green and he speeds down the boulevard. "So you'll have to find a pretty insurmountable problem if I'm going to let you go again." So sweet. I have like a quote that I love here. Let me see if I can find it for like the peachy color. Okay, it says, "If there are an infinite number of universes, I don't know how I got so lucky to end up in this one. Maybe there are other lives for me out there, but I can't imagine being as happy in any of them as I am right now, today. I have to think, while I may exist in other universes, none of them is as good as this." Are we joking? Are we joking, Taylor Jenkins Reid? Like, Taylor Jenkins Reid knows how to write good lines like that. So I think it's pretty clear that I loved this book, but I'm only going to rate it a 4.5 star instead of 5, because I will say some of the chapters felt really repetitive. Like, every other chapter you change what life Hannah is in. And I feel like in the one life where she went with Gabby instead of her ex-boyfriend, it got very repetitive because of the situation that she was in and just like the fact that she couldn't really do much in that situation. So I felt like I was rereading the same chapter over and over and over again. So that got a bit redundant there, which I didn't love. And then also the ending was really, really sweet, but I feel like I'm not satisfied with it in a way because there's no like conclusion. Obviously, in the beginning of the book, when Hannah has a decision to make, we get to see both of those decisions play out. But like at the end of the book, it just kind of ends. And I was sitting there wondering like, okay, but what one actually happened? Or am I reading like a multiverse theory sort of thing? But I wish it would have ended with like back in the beginning where she had to make the decision and her being like, actually, I'm going to do this instead, like not make either one of the decisions. I think that would have been epic. Maybe other people wouldn't agree there, but I think that would have been cool if she would have like paved her own path instead of choosing one of the two options, if that makes sense. Yeah, I still really, really loved it. This is probably my second favorite in the little Taylor Jenkins Reid LA series. One True Loves, or not One True Loves. I don't know why I said that. After I Do is my number 1, and then Maybe in Another Life, I'm gonna put it at number 2. And then I think I'm gonna do One True Loves at number 3, and Forever Interrupted at number 4, even though I love all of the books. This one and After I Do are just superior. Anywho's, I feel like I've been talking about this forever. We were very, very close to another 5-star rating, so thank you, Taylor Jenkins Reid. Literally read this one under 24 hours again. You could easily read this in one sitting. I did not want to put it down whatsoever. I'll probably see you tomorrow, though, to pick my next book for this video because I want to get some stuff done for our Hawaii trip now that I finished this. So I'll see you when I pick the next book. Okay, sorry, this lighting's kind of terrible because it's cloudy out, but I wanted to give a quick little reading update for today, and it's actually quite late in the day. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I never gave you an update, partially because I'm not very far into it. I'm like 80-ish pages, probably like a fourth of the way through the book. I haven't even said what book it is. It's The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. Sorry, my mind is just kind of frazzled. I'm kind of overwhelmed right now. I was doing like last minute prep for Hawaii. I'm also starting my own business. So I got some stuff in the mail for that today and was like doing stuff with that. And also I just haven't felt the greatest today. I felt kind of run down. So I wasn't really able to focus on reading too much today because of all those other factors, but I want to give you a reading update now that I have started The Grace Year. And also I just want to say the reason I picked this one is because so many people that I am friends with, like on TikTok, tell me that they love this book. It's an absolute 5-star read. They would think that I would love it. And I got this over a year ago for my birthday. So it's been on my radar. I don't know why it's taken me so long to pick it up, but it was kind of calling to me when I was picking out a book this morning for the next book for this reading vlog. So that's why I picked it, because I do think it has very good potential to be 5-star rating because other people have told me that. And also it's a YA fantasy. It kind of gives dystopian vibes. And I love fantasy. I love dystopian, like Hunger Games, Divergent, Shatter Me. Phenomenal. So I just love books kind of like that. Okay, anyways, what this book is about is basically in this town where our main character Tierney is from, girls for their 16th year of life have to go out into the woods to like get rid of their magic for a whole year. I'm pretty sure they have to just be out in the woods trying to survive because it's very dangerous. Like other girls will kind of manifest their magical powers and like use that against the other girls. And then there's also these poachers in the forest that get the girls and kill them for their magic. So very, very dark stuff happening, honestly, for a YA book. It's definitely giving the Hunger Games because these girls want to like come out on top. It's also very much giving Jealousy by Olivia Rodrigo. Just because these girls are all jealous of every single other girl for anything under the sun. Like they're prettier, they have better prospects, like literally anything. And also before they're like sent into the woods for the Grace Year, they're at this veiling event where basically the men of the town, the boys of the town, will choose a girl that they want to marry when they're done with the Grace Year. And there's only a certain number of boys, but there's always more girls than there are boys. So it's like you want to be chosen to be a wife. Even though, again, like keep in mind, they're 16 years old. And once they're chosen to be a wife, like they're owned by that man. And Tierney does not want the wife life. She's kind of a tomboy and she just wants to be free. She doesn't want to be owned by anyone. She doesn't want like she just doesn't want to be a wife. She doesn't want motherhood. She doesn't want any of that. She wants her own life, which is very, very understandable. And now I am just getting to the part where they're sent into the Grace year. I will say it was a bit of a slower start getting to that point. But now that we're in the Grace year, I feel like a lot of stuff is happening. There are definitely some girls like literally out for blood. Oh, also another thing about this, like nobody can tell them what the Grace year entails. Nobody. It's forbidden to say anything about the Grace year. So Tierney is kind of going in like expecting a little bit of all this stuff, but she doesn't know like, oh, my pizza's ready to go in the oven. She doesn't really know what it all entails because nobody has been able to tell her about it. So it's a very, very interesting so far. I am definitely getting a little bit more into it. Like after the 50-page mark, I was like, okay, things are really getting interesting. Things are picking up. So yeah, I probably won't get much more time to read tonight because I have to go babysit for the rest of the night probably. So hopefully tomorrow is a better reading day for us than today was. And hopefully the book gets really, really good to see if we have another 5-star read on our hands for this video. Hey guys, it's been a hot minute since I last talked to you. I think it's probably been like almost 2 days. What day is today? Saturday. I think I last talked to you on Thursday. I did read a little bit yesterday. I think actually I read a good amount yesterday. I read like 100 pages yesterday. But then my life just got crazy. I went to a drive-in movie theater with my brothers. And then after that, I went to a bonfire. Literally didn't get home until like 3 a.m. last night. And then I slept until like 10:30 a.m. this morning. And it's now like 1 o'clock. And I'm just kind of getting my day started. I just finished up some of my like other work. And hopefully I'm gonna sit down and read the rest of this. I would like to get this finished today. If I don't get it finished today, I definitely need to finish it tomorrow because I need to get stuff done for my Hawaii trip. But that's where I've been, just like kind of chaotic. And I never gave you a reading update yesterday after I read like 100 pages. Don't ask me why. I think it was because I read those 100 pages and then we had to like get ready to go, like ate supper and then had to get ready to go to the movie. So I just did not have time to sit here and give you an update. But also I probably could have had time because I feel like I don't have much to update you on. We're still following Tierney as she's going through her Grace year, like in the woods with all the other girls who are also 16. Hold on, I need a drink really bad. Okay, that's a little better. But we're just like going through the motion of her in the woods with these other girls, and like none of the girls trust each other because literally like off them, you know? So it's a very interesting dynamic, just all of these 16-year-old girls out in the woods together, kind of like competing with each other. And Tierney is doing her best to like stay out of it and just survive. Like that is her only goal, to survive her Grace year. And we got to winter. I think it'll be spring. Oh no, wait, when will it be spring? Okay, I think it'll be spring somewhat soon. So got a decent way through winter. It started, did it start in the fall? Yeah, so it starts in the fall. And then we got to winter and it's almost spring now. And I don't know, I just feel like there's not a ton going on. I was pretty bored in the 100 pages that I did read yesterday. So that's why I just feel like I honestly don't have a ton to even update you on. We're still just following Tierney through her Grace year. There are some spooky things happening in the woods. Again, nobody can speak to these girls what Grace year all entails. So everything that they're experiencing is completely new and they don't know what to think of it. So that's very interesting. I will say this is definitely like dark and gory. I don't know. I would say it's kind of like a horror fantasy because there are some very, very dark moments and yeah. But other than that, I feel like I don't have a ton to update you on. If something crazy starts happening, I'll give you an update. But otherwise, I'm just going to try and get through the rest of this today. I'm like halfway through it. So not bad. But yeah, I just really need to get this finished this weekend because I have a lot of Hawaii prep to do still. And then on Monday or Tuesday, craziness starts. I don't know for sure, but my week's gonna get very hectic very fast, and I want to have everything done for my Hawaii trip before the week starts, even though we don't leave until Thursday for our Hawaii trip. Like I said, it's Saturday today. So, did I say it's Saturday today? I don't know. That's your update on the grace year from me. I'll see you when I see you. Okay guys, I finished the grace year. I literally went outside and sat and finished the entire last like 200 pages that I had in one sitting. Like, sat outside the whole time reading this. Hopefully I get a nice little tan or something. But safe to say, this definitely picked up after I gave you that update of where I left off yesterday, where I was kind of bored with like the first season of Tierney's grace year that we were following her through. But after that, oh my gosh, this book is phenomenal. I can totally understand why everyone's telling me you're gonna love this. Yeah, they were definitely right. I was a little bit questionable in that middle part there where I was like, I just don't feel like there's much going on. But oh my gosh, these last 200 pages, insane. Like, I could not put this down. There's a reason I sat outside and I was able to finish 200 pages in one sitting. I can't tell you too much about what happens because obviously I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to give any like clues to anything whatsoever that happens. I don't even want to tell you like the message of the book because it's so powerful, but also like I don't want to give anything away because this is seriously such an amazing reading experience that you just have to go into it kind of blindly for yourself. Obviously know a little bit of the overall premise, what you're getting into with the book, what you're going to be reading about. But once you get into it, like, I literally don't want to say anything because it just was so amazing for me not knowing anything else that was going to really happen in it. I mean, obviously, like, you don't want to be spoiled by anything in books, but sometimes people say, like, oh, there's a little bit of this sort of stuff happening. And it's like, I don't want to give you anything to go off of. I will say there is a little bit of romance introduced into the book, and I don't really feel like that's a spoiler whatsoever. And I really liked that little bit of romance. So I was very pleased with the teeny bit of romance that was in here. And then, oh my gosh, I was literally going to start bawling my eyes out at the end of this book. Like, the last 2 pages, done. Like, I could not handle myself. And again, like, I can't tell you anything. Nothing. You get to know nothing whatsoever about why I was potentially crying at the end of this. And there was another point where I was getting really sad too before like the end. But those last few pages, again, so powerful. I love the message. And this is one that I definitely would recommend. Like, even if you're not really a huge fantasy reader, this more so gives like dystopian vibes. So nothing too intense. Like, if you liked The Hunger Games, you would like this book. This is beautiful writing. It was very simple writing, which is a YA novel, so it's gonna be more simple writing, but just very easy to read. And the only reason I didn't really want to read it at first was because I did think it was kind of slow to get into, and then that first chunk of like the fall season of the grace year I wasn't really into. But it makes sense looking back, like everything that they had to build up, because everything comes together by the end and it's crazy. Like, everything is explosive and crazy, and yeah, you need to read this. But all that being said, everything that I did like about it, I think I'm gonna give it a 4-star rating because I was a bit bored for a bit of the book. That could also just be me though. Like, my mind has been so frazzled trying to get everything prepared for my trip and then everything that we have going on before the trip. So it's like, maybe I just wasn't in the right headspace and you or other people wouldn't find it boring where I found it boring. It's like, I feel like I was very focused on other things other than reading this book when I started it, because I'm getting down to crunch time for all this other stuff happening in my life soon. So that's why I'm gonna go with a 4-star rating, but I can definitely see how people would give this 5 stars just based off the ending alone. So yeah, would recommend. And let's just do a quick recap of the other 2 books that I read in today's video. I started off with After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this was a reread for me. I read it the first time about 3 years ago, and then I annotated it this time. I love this book. This is probably my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book, at least in this little like romancy series that she has, and 5 stars all around. I just love this one. So we started off this video very, very good, finding a 5-star read. I wanted to see if it was still a 5-star read, and also I wanted to make sure I wouldn't get slumpy. So I wanted to start with a book that I knew I already loved, but also just to test it out, see if my reading taste is still the same, and can confirm it was the same for this book, so that's good. Then the next book I read was Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Again, annotated this one, and I also loved this one, but it wasn't quite a 5-star read for me. It was a 4.5, which is very, very close to 5. So obviously I still loved it, but there were just a few points where, again, I was kind of bored. I felt like the story was repetitive. And of course, The Grace Year, another 4-star read. So obviously loved this one as well, but it wasn't quite a 5. But I still think this video was very, very successful in trying to find 5-star reads, because we found 4 stars and above, and I feel like that is still amazing, especially when I've been feeling like 3-ish stars is what I've been giving a lot of books lately. I needed to get out of that 3-star slump, and we definitely succeeded with today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. Also make sure to comment any videos you would like to see from me in the future, because obviously I want to film what you want to see. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video. Bye!